And we're visiting with Tom Lipari, and Tom, obviously just got to go back to that day, March 10th, 2001. As you reflect on that now, of course, no hitter against Southern Miss. First of all, good, just kind of take us to going into that game, and of course with pitchers and every start that they go into. Did you kind of feel something different than, hey, this could be something really special, kind of before that day, or was it kind of in the process of the game where you had that moment?
Manny, I did before the game. It certainly was a different feel for a couple reasons. My dad and two of my siblings were able to come down from Omaha, Nebraska, and were there for that game. Just because of the distance, family couldn't get down there all the time. But for that particular game, I recall, they got in town that morning, kind of right before the game, and I met them outside of Lakefront, and just really happy to see them. Kind of calmed my nerves right away, if you will. A pitcher's always got those butterflies and nerves before a game, and seeing them calm them down. And I just told them, I was like, hey, maybe I could turn out a pretty good game for you today. And it was a beautiful day. I remember kind of a breeze coming off the lakefront there, blue sky, just a beautiful day. And, kind of a big game because Southern Miss, being close by, I believe they were ranked pretty good at the time too. And this was pre-conference play. So it was kind of an opportunity for us to, make a statement early in the season as well.
And that's what I wanted to get you to kind of touch on as well. You kind of mentioned it about the opponent in Southern Miss, and certainly a very formidable opponent. And like you said, they were nationally ranked at the time. Obviously, going into that and the scouting report that you knew about this team going into it, what were some of your keys to kind of attack that lineup early?
Yeah, with me and my particular style is I was a predominantly fastball pitcher. I had a decent changeup. My off speed was okay. It was nothing really special. I relied heavily on my fastball, the movement, and some of the life it brought. So I knew establishing that fastball early and often was going to be a big key that particular game. And my catcher that day, Mike Sanchez, and pitching coach that year, Wally Whitehurst, I recall talking over, a little scouting report and being able to throw inside with the fastball that particular day, we felt was going to be big too.
You mentioned about Wally, and obviously just getting the opportunity to work with him in your collegiate career here. And of course, you obviously knew what Wally had done as a player here back in the 80s. And just kind of talk about that and the opportunity to work with him and Coach Randy as well in this entire staff.
That staff meant so much to me. Coming into New Orleans, I'm going to back up a little bit here, man. I went to Indian Hills Junior College and signed with the University of Arkansas out of Indian Hills. And I ended up leaving Arkansas, just not a good fit for me. So my decision to come to the University of New Orleans was solely based on a coaching staff who I felt comfortable with, who I clicked with. And I mean, that was that coaching staff to a T. But Coach Bush, Coach Whitehurst, Coach Benura, in the following year, with Joe Sluzarski coming in as the pitching coach, and Trey Gilliott, that's the kind of staff you want to run through a wall for. I wanted to win so badly, for them in the team because they had belief in me, and it was just great. But Wally, there's different style of pitching coaches out there, and Wally, I always classified as a kind of a mental game pitcher. He kept things relaxed. Everything you ever been through between the lines, he's been there, done it. He liked to keep things loose and just instilled confidence. Sluzarski, who came in the next year, was kind of more of a mechanical guy combined, with the mental game. So I was so fortunate to get those two guys as my pitching coaches, and Coach Bush just a tremendous leader, and the presence he brought with his experiences, is just the perfect package for me.
And how much did it mean, not only, like you said, the wisdom that those coaches imparted, but the fact that they had been with this program? So obviously they have been successful with this program as well. From that aspect as well, what when you saw that and when you kind of looked at that, what did that mean to you? That, hey, these guys have been there before and they've achieved a very high level of success here.
Yeah, It's a blue collar program, and I come from a blue collar family back in Omaha. And so, I think a lot of these upper echelon programs today, and even back then, it's always been this way, get caught up in, um, the uniforms, the rankings, the stats, this and that. And the atmosphere they brought was just a solid blue collar, loyal type fraternity, with UNO down there. And, we felt like, we can match up against anyone. It didn't matter. As with the location of UNO, you're always playing some high powered teams midweek. And the Sun Belt Conference was very tough back then too. But you knew the history. It didn't take long. You could be down there a week or two, and you could see the pictures in the old locker room of Slew and Wally and Coach Bush and some of the legends that went through there. And you just felt like it was a special place to play. Very, very tight, family oriented.
And just take me back to let's go back to the game for a second
Yeah.
itself. And you get that final out, and of course, obviously, there's jubilation, there's celebration for the moment. When did it kind of sink in for you that, hey, I just went out and did this, and not only did this against a nationally ranked opponent?
I don't think it. I don't think it's still settled in, Mandy. To be honest with you, it was. I recall that last out off the bat. That ninth inning got pretty dicey. I walked the bases loaded in the ninth. It was a tight 3-0 ball game. Again, against a ranked opponent. And so my heart was pumping 200 beats a minute. The adrenaline was pumping, and I kind of lost command in the ninth. And Coach Bush actually made a mound visit in the ninth with someone warming up in the pen. And he didn't even get halfway out there. I was like, I got it. I'm good. And he turned around and went back to the dugout. And I remember I made a pitch kind of on the inner half, and off the bat, I thought it was going to be a gap shot because it was hit pretty good. And our left fielder, Drew Pizza, now Dr. Pizza, was camped under it and left. And there it goes. And, the team swarms you. And, I just remember just that utter shocking feeling.
And of course, now looking back on it and reflecting on it, and obviously it's a part of the record book forever, and it's such a proud history with this program, and there's been so much success. So, what does that mean to have your name as a part of that program as one of the no hitters in this history?
Yeah, it means a lot. It's kind of a good feeling knowing that there's never been another 9-inning no hitter down there. And it kind of, I wish I had 4 years at UNO, but I only had 2. So I'm glad just in that short 2-time year, that short span, that there was something there I could be remembered by.
And you mentioned the level of competition. It just so happens on the 20th anniversary of your no hitter that the University of New Orleans is going to be playing LSU. And of course, you talked about the opportunity for great competition, not only on weekends but in midweeks as well, with such a strong level of baseball here in the region.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously still checking up on UNO. It hasn't changed in 20 some years. If you look at the schedule, the conference may have changed, but those midweek opponents, it's fun, and it's an experience, and it prepares you for more competitive games down the road with conference play.
Well, Tom, I wanted to thank you very much for taking a little time to join us and reflecting back on certainly one of the great moments in privateer baseball history.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.